Hello, welcome to Slightly Noisy Also Driven, as we're here on the causeway that goes across Lake Champlain, named after Samuel de Champlain, who discovered this in the 1600s. Anyway, this is the next part of our adventure. We have to deliver this car to Chicago so that Andrea in Idaho can send a man with a big truck to come and pick it up. And as you can see, the lake is very frozen. There's a little man out there in his tent, and he's ice fishing. So yes, it's a bit nippy, so we've got a ferry to go catch. So let's go do that. This is definitely one of these parking positions where you wouldn't want to be doing anything rude down there. I love how Americans just really embrace the whole Christmas spirit. Christmas trees on the dock. Alan's had enough and is going inside. It's about -9 at the minute. Yes, the joys of working in this part of the world is knocking ice off stuff before you actually do anything. Right, ramp's going up. Let's head. So we're leaving Vermont behind and heading across to New York. Yeah, we're the only crazy people who have got out of the car. All the other locals are sitting there with their engines running, blowing hot air, and we're dicking about like at -9. We have a grand total of 14 minutes on the boat, so it's not a particularly long crossing. Your guess is as good as mine. Coming into dock, let's have a look. Anything interesting? Oh, they've got 2 more boats over there, so they actually have 4 boats doing this little crossing. That's pretty cool. It's amazing that they still actually have to tell people that. Good job we've got someone to follow. Where are we?
Your happy place.
But where is my happy place?
McDonald's.
But what town's it in?
Peru.
I finally made it to McDonald's in Peru, New York. Well, New York is all terribly pretty, rather nice. New York is very pretty in the snow, but unfortunately we don't really have time to do lots of lovely filming because we need to be in somewhere else. Oh God, this is terrible. This is the worst thing when you drive places with sat-nav. You kind of go, right, it's the Red Roof Inn in this town here, and we need to be there, and we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Anyway, better get moving. But anyway, yes, all very pretty. The first part of this trip will all be basically back roads, as there's no direct interstate between Joanne's house and Chicago. So we're going to be dropping onto the 90s soon, but you do kind of feel that these back roads give you an insight into the kind of like Americana lifestyle. I mean, everything from like psychic readings to corn barns to, you know, lock-up garages. Just as you drive along, you sort of see the world as it happens. This could be Rotterdam, or anywhere, or Liverpool, or Rome. We're in Rome, New York. Also having been in Poland, Russia, and a couple other things I'll flash up because I can't remember, because seemingly there are no names here which are original. Yes, Rome, and more Rome over there, Rome. Well, look what it is. It's what did you call it earlier? The pointy angular car. This is actually so bad that it's quite embarrassing. I mean, the amount of like salt that's on this thing is just insane. So yeah, it's getting a quick bath. There's a man spraying us there. Normally I pay extra for that. Oh, we got the very manual touch. And off he goes again. Oh, he's going to get his other brush. Wasn't this terribly exciting? It's like some sort of really cheap Doctor Who monster from the 70s.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that looks a lot better. We don't look like we've been living in the frost for the last, 2 weeks. Definitely much better. 370 miles later and 1 ferry crossing, we have arrived at our first hotel, which is a Red Roof Inn in Bat. I really need to remember the name of this place. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to go see Niagara Falls, so catch you there. It's that morning prep of we need to clear all yesterday's crap out of the car before we start filling it with today's crap.
Use the right 2 lanes to take the I-190 North exit.
Finally found a use for the split tailgate, didn't we? Okay, let's go see Niagara Falls. Car's still doing very well, by the way. Unfortunately, we're on the American side, which is not quite as spectacular as the Canadian side. But hey ho. This is one of the downsides about doing it in winter, though. Unfortunately, large sections of the park are closed due to the ice. Even though we don't have it today, and I'm absolutely roasting for about the first time in 2 weeks. So that's our random trip to Niagara Falls. Yes, everybody gets a better view from that side, so don't do what we do. But we have got the time to go to Canada. Do we? Do we have the time to go to Canada?
I'm not sure.
The current Mr. McGill says no. Ish. Ish. No ish. It's maybe a little overly lowered, but it's nice to see a BMW 3 Series of this generation still existing in the US without it being absolutely doctored up to heck. That's cool. And no rust too. These were the gates of the original hydroelectric plant that sat down at the falls, from the late 1800s. And they actually, when they demolished it, they took it actually all down and reassembled it all bit by bit and put it in the car park. It's kind of cool. I do like that little motif up there. It's quite nice. Well, we're somewhere in Ohio, and I was napping, and now we're both tired, and I've got to drive, so about 150 miles to the hotel tonight. The hotel is actually kind of interesting because I stayed there 4 years ago, and it was a really rather bizarre experience. I'll put a little link in the notes to something I wrote about it at the time. Let's see if it's going to be as interesting tonight. 4 years ago, I stayed at this hotel and had one of the most bizarre experiences of my life as a police raid for people trafficking happened just as I was checking in. So obviously Al and I were passing, and well, we couldn't resist. We had to come back and see what it was like. It still feels as sketchy. Oh my God, look at that car. Yeah, and that's why this place is sketchy. Who needs bodywork anyway? Yeah, this is one very strange place, but you know what? It was about £53 and I don't care. And it's a good story. Anyway, you can read all about it, the experience I had here last time in the notes down below. Tomorrow we're off to Chicago and I'll have to try and memorize all the lines from that scene from the Blues Brothers. Catch you then. Bye. We've made it to Indiana and I've stopped for Dunkin's. And the Marea is just over there. Alan's going over to get it. So one of the things we haven't actually done so far is worked out what this thing does to the gallon while it's here. So we're going to fuel it up and we're going to head over to the next hotel, which is about 150 miles. And we'll have a look and see what the fuel economy is like. By the way, weather is miserable today. Wet, cold, rainy. It's like being at home. The official fuel of NASCAR. And reset the trip. Yeah, it's really old-fashioned. You do it in the dials. Okay, that's us filled up with 89. Didn't really need too much, about 3 gallons. And let's see how we get on. 121.3 miles from the last fill up. This is the first station I've seen that actually has E15 of all things. That works out about 33 miles to the gallon US. Maria, you've got to see her go into and out of your mind. That's about as much Blondie as we know, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, she's done very well.
Yes.
Get us this far. Morning. Just crossed the state line into Illinois this morning. Got, Starbucks because I'm in America. And we're at some sort of weird disused mall, which is quite creepy. Anyway. Don't know what the plans are for today, but we do need to hand the car over later and get a flight. So let's get cracking. Heading downtown Chicago. We're going to go find something that's been a little bit of an interest to me for a while. Route 66 starts in Chicago, and they actually have a marker for it. So we're going to go have a look and see if we can find it. Do you know what? I never thought we'd be driving the Marea in Chicago. That was green when I went through it. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. There we go.
Perfect.
Perfect. Route 66.
Thank you very much.
Yes, very much a whistle-stop tour of Chicago. Man on a horse. Okay, we better move before we get towed. Or whatever. Clamped or something. God knows what they do in Chicago. Don't hit the Chevy Bolt. There we go. Out into traffic. And where are we going to go now? I have to say the views are somewhat spectacular. And we're crossing under the L. What was the one they did this with? Is this the one of the police chase movies they did this under the L? It's all a bit bonkers, I'd have to say. Oh look, it's a Fiat Marea. It's an English registered Fiat Marea. I wonder what it's doing in Chicago. So that was Chicago. It's the end of the road for us in the Marea. It's a nice city. We only get a very, very brief moment here, unfortunately. I'd like to spend more time, but as per usual, we've run out of time. Green, green, green. Yes, green this time. So all the traffic here is really badly backed up, and the sat-nav decided to take us through the ghetto, and I just thought this was the perfect song for it, Gangster's Paradise. You're not impressed, are you? He's not impressed. We're eating the last of the nibbles before we dump the car in a few minutes. Unfortunately, I think we've sort of oversubscribed on like car snacks, which is a shame because we're going to have to get rid of a few of them. No room to take the crisps back with us. Yes, arriving at Terminal 3. Anywhere at all, I suppose. Yes, I'm letting Alan do all the hard work as usual. This is it. This is it heading off. You gonna miss it? Let's see if Lee can get it away before the bus comes in. And it's away! He did kind of take away like a scalded cat. Right, let's get a flight. Airports at Christmas are always really kind of funky looking, aren't they? Okay. Are you playing with the toys? You're very easily amused here. Oh, I had this really funny dream. I was in America.
Yes.
And we took one of our cars there.
Yeah, and now you've woken up and it's reality.
Yeah.
All right,